Okay, I hope that was fun. I think it is for me, and I really don't want any of the conversations to stop, but then, well, we have to stay within the time box. All right, one thing, again, revisiting the same thing, feedback on your table, the QR codes are there. Feel free to add in your comments, your feedbacks. I have received 3 topics by far for open house, open to more. So feel free, get those, the feedback, the topics coming in for us. I'll take, if that's the topic. Okay. All right. Okay, moving on to the next one. Our next speaker will talk about, very interesting topic, I would say. Ethics in
it's boring, not interesting.
It's fantastically interesting. It's a little different from what we've been discussing so far, I guess. Everything was interlinked, but then this is a nice change. We'll talk about ethics in professional environment. We'll talk about impact of an unethical environment on society as well as humanity. What's needed to bring more professionalism in the workplace, right? I know our next speaker, Sanjay, most of you would already know, but then talking about inclusivity, let me still do the honors, let me still do the drill. So Sanjay is someone who has been, who is a CEO and founder for Agile Wow, of course, one of our sponsors here. And he has, again, with theme, more than 25 years of experience in business ownership, product management, project management, program management, technical leadership, delivery management, etc., etc. I'm going to take a pause here and hand it over to Sanjay. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Harshika. Okay. So, the last session before going for the lunch break, right? I am the only one who is between you and your lunch, right? So I will try to keep it short, right? And people who want to be first in the queue, they can sit closer to the gate. Right? And me and Vivek worked for a few years together, right? So similar to him, I will start with self-promotion only, right? I can spend next 15-20 minutes just on one slide, the rest all are just waste, right? This is about me. Right, so Harshika has already covered it, right? But I will be sharing this slide, don't worry, you can read it later. Right? Okay, how about this?
Can you just go back to the previous slide?
Yep.
Just talk about the wanted to be a fighter pilot or the
That was more of a wish, but nothing happened, right? So that's where I am.
But I really like the last slide. Yeah, seriously.
Yep. Actually, I copied or maybe I have modified it from one of my friend or one of our trainer. If you know him, Ron, he gave this line. So, but I really liked it. I changed it a bit, and that's what I always use it. So that's what it should be, right? Okay. So what do you think? What is common in these companies? American, following Agile, money, yep. Huh.
The CEOs were fired because
So you read all my LinkedIn blogs, right? Right. So their CEOs were fired or forced to resign because of the ethical issue. Right, and they are not the only one. There are so many other organizations. And based on the recent study, right, there are more and more CEOs are being or forced to resign or maybe fired because of the ethical thing. Right, that's not very, I think, not a so good environment. Who are they? Okay, we know that by looking at the dress, they are astronaut. What else? Anything specific about them? They are a team, okay? They are from US, NASA, right? No, that's true. All of them? Mm-hmm. All of them are from what you say, a project or maybe in a shuttle called as a Challenger. Right, the failure. Right, all of them killed in that as a part of that launch. Or I would say it's not killed, they were actually murdered. because of the people, right, who knew that this shuttle is going to crash, this is really, really very, very risky, but they had committed it to the president, and president was about to announce the successful launch of the shuttle in the next speech. And within few minutes or seconds, the shuttle was broken. There is a video available on I think there are so many videos. Right? And anyone knows about this Volkswagen Dieselgate? Yep. Emission rate, yeah. Yep. People who think that, or especially those DevOps guys who think that they are using feature toggle, I would say I think Volkswagen was the inventor of feature toggle. Right? The way, and for those who are not aware of it, the way they did is they installed a software in their car or the engine, and when it goes for the testing from government authorities for the carbon emission test, right? When it was in UAT phase, the emission was okay. But when the car is on road, when it's in production, then the emission level goes high. Right? And the car was emitting so much of nitrogen, I think it was way beyond it. Right? And later on, actually, they launched the same cars in India also. It's not in US. Right? They launched in India, and that's what the report from Indian government says. It's not a product failure, but a clear case of cheating. Right? We should understand that there is, whenever we talk about a software, there will always be bugs. Right? We can't have maybe 100% bug-free software, which is, I understand. Right? But there is a difference between having a bug versus cheating. So that's what it is. Right? All these are more of the ethics problem, which we are seeing in today's end. Right? But what is ethics? How do you define it? What is your definition of it? Yeah.
To do the right thing when nobody is looking.
To do the right thing when nobody is looking. Okay, good. What else?
Maintain trust with all your stakeholders.
Maintain trust with all your stakeholders.
Your own set of rules.
You are on?
Set of rules.
Okay, on set of rule, very good. Right, that's fair.
But still you are driven.
No, I think all of they are right, and there is a reason for it, right? And if you search on Google, maybe any dictionary, I think this is what you will find there. And it's in a right or wrong, the difference between right or wrong, it's more of taking a moral obligation, right? And when we say a set of rules, you are right, Harshika. So the rules or maybe the right and wrong may differ from person to person. The values will differ from the person to person, right? There is no black and white when we talk about ethics, right? And there will always be different shades of gray. Right? Too many. Right? Something which is right for you may not be right for me, and the vice versa. Right? And that's the challenge with ethics. That's why people do things which they feel that, hey, this is okay. This is okay to do now. Right? But it may or may not be. Let me take an example maybe. So, how many of you know this character? Vibhishan. Right? So, brother of Ravana. Right, he left his brother, joined Lord Rama. Right, reason being he knew that Ravan is not good. Right, Ram is maybe the Lord. Right, always doing the right thing. Okay, and he did everything to make sure that the good wins over evil. How about this? Karan. Right, what he did? He was supporting the wrong side. Right? He knew that Duryodhana is not right. He knew that the Pandavas are his brother, right? But he still stayed with Duryodhana.
But then he always mentioned that, I am at the wrong side.
Whatever it is. Now, think about it. Think about it. Look at people around you. Maybe anyone whom you know. How many times you have seen people naming their kids as Vibhishana versus Karna? Why not Vibhishan?
Out of 10.
He is not cool, okay. Right? But there isn't a reason. Right? Even Karan was wrong, but still we are okay to maybe name our kids as Karan, not Vibhishan. Vibhishan was right. And the way we use the name of Vibhishan, right, may not be in a good taste. Right? That's what it is. Right? And all these are related to your ethics part. Right? The way we look at our values. Right? The way we look at the definition of it. Right? And when it comes to the ethics in the product development, let's get into the work we are doing. The very first thing I always say that when we want to be very ethical in your product development, you should be clear about your intention. Why we are doing it. Right? And since we are in a commercial environment, we are here to make money. No doubt about it. And that's why Vivek is here. Right?
And he's not paying me.
To clarify, right? Very true. Right? But if you go and ask anyone, people who have made billions out of their product, right? They may be unicorn, they may be in a maybe top 10 or 20, right? And ask them, hey, when you started your organization, when you started your product development, what was your intention? Most probably you are going to hear that their intention was not about money. Their intention was about solving a problem. That's the reason they started that product. That's the reason they started that the company. Right? It doesn't mean we don't need money. Money is required. Right? But money may be more of a byproduct of it. The moment your focus becomes too much about money, bad things will happen. Right? And this is even applicable today. Right? Whatever work we are doing, our focus should be on maybe solving a problem. Right? But again, it doesn't mean we are going to bankrupt our investor and the organization. No, that will still be there. Right? But it should not be maybe over-focused just towards money. Right? We are always doing the user-centric approach. Right? Whatever we are doing, right? Developing is more of a user-centric approach we are following. The challenge with the user-centric approach is it's more of focused on just one segment of users. And by doing that, there are chances that we may neglect the remaining segment. The approach we should follow is more of a humanity-centric. Whatever we are developing, is it is it going to harm the humanity or is it going to help the humanity? We should not allow our product to be weaponized. Right? Design and technology part. How many of you have heard about something called as dark patterns? At least product people should know, right? Right. I don't want to explain this, but just go and Google about it, the dark patterns, and you will find the list you will get, you will be surprised to see that actually on a daily basis you are victim of it. Daily. Knowingly, unknowingly. Calm technology. You know what it is? No, not a reliable one. So the concept of the calm technology is the technology is there, just available there. It should not keep taking attention from the user. It's up to the user when a user wants to use the technology. Right? Something similar to your do not disturb option in your phone. Right? And there are books available just on how to use calm technology. Right? And obviously there are ethical product design principles. If you search on it, you will find a lot of things. Right? We are all these non-functional requirements, scalability, maintainability, usability. How about you add another item to it? Ethicality. People who are aware of that definition of done, right? So the ethicality should also be part of your done item. We are not going to release anything unethical. How would you measure? That depends on the product to product, right? You have to come up with your own thing. Yep, you have to come up with your own definition.
The bigger question is how do you explain this to any not
I will come to that, just wait. When you say People know that. When they are doing wrong, they know that.
With respect to your product or the work that you are doing.
Sorry, with it.
With respect to the work or the product that you are doing.
I will explain that. Anyone has heard? We always do the usability testing. Right? The abusability testing is you have to test your product in a way so that anyone using your product cannot or should not use it in the wrong way. When I say wrong way, maybe to harm anyone. Okay, it's not a missile. If you look at maybe any gaming product, can a gaming product be abused? It can. The most popular one. Sorry? Yep. There's the Candy Crush. And think about yourself. If you want to go and buy an online gaming thing for your kid, right? And there are two products available, which one says, hey, you can use it whenever you want or how long you want. The other product say, we will restrict the uses of this product or this feature, maybe just 2 hours per day. Which one you are going to buy for your kid? Right. Right. The environment impact, right? We are talking about this AI, Gen AI, right? Vivek was talking about maybe setting up those data center. I think one of the biggest impact it is going to make is on the environment because of the energy consumption required for it. And no one, there may be people who will be looking at it, but most of us don't care about it. Right? All these part of your ethical consideration when you are developing in a product. Right. This is more about the product development side of it. Now let's move to a maybe more specific to a Scrum team. Right. Very basic. Everyone knows it, but I don't know how many of us actually follow it. 50% done, 90% done, just one more thing to be completed. This is not ethical. To bring something not done item in your sprint. Giving in a false hope to your stakeholder. Right? Which one? Maybe. Sure. Right. It happens. Agree. It could be. Right. And especially when you are working in a more of a consulting mode, vendor customer mode, right, we are okay. Whatever is coming, we will do it. It's more about the billing rather than developing the right product. And again, this is interesting. Think about yourself. Right? How many times you have worked on a product, maybe for any 6 months or any year, and after a year the product was scrapped? So many times. Right? We can always take an excuse that, hey, this is we have been paid for it. Right? We did our job. Fair argument. But it's not just about your job. Think about your life. You have spent 1 year of your life developing something which no one is going to use. Right? And the guy, Ash Moria, I think he said that life is too short to build something that nobody wants.
I never felt bad about that project. Now you are.
Yeah, that's true. But that's what we do our job and we move away. We don't care about it.
We care about the MIs.
Right.
Doesn't mean we fail fast.
But what the fail fast should not be in a year or 2 years, right? Users, right? We always try to connect with our users, right? Or we use the concept of personas. There isn't a challenge with the persona, right? And there is a more of the word we use is in a psychological theory, we call it as a psychological distance. For example, if you are going to a place, right, or you are in a park, right, you find a wallet and there's a cash in it, right? And fortunately, if you know the person whose wallet it is, there's a good chance that you are going to return it to him. And when I say know the person, even if you have met that person, people whom you have met in today's conference, right, there's a good chance that you may not do anything wrong with them. When I say wrong, in the sense maybe you may not harm them, right? But in case if you have not seen anyone, if you have not met anyone, then you don't care. That's what the concept is. And that's why when we talk about personas are more often a fictitious character. We don't know who they are. If you are working as a part of the Scrum team, try to connect with the actual users, people who are going to use your product. If your developer knows, hey, if I leave in a bug here, this is how John or maybe Ravi is going to respond, or the face of that person would be, that your developer will make sure that everything works fine.
On this approach, actually the number of vocal users are very less. Users doesn't want to talk to you also.
That's also true. That also happens. Right? But think about it. Have an actual users. Team working agreement, I think some of you may have, if not everyone, most of us has that team working agreement when we start our team, right? Include that ethical part as into your working agreement. Right? We may or not be doing it, and when I talk about ethics, the ethical agreement part, it's not just about respect and openness. There are so many things which goes beyond it.
Turning on the camera.
Okay. Transparency, one of the biggest challenges in today's professional environment. But people may have a different understanding about it. When we say transparency, they see that we have to share each and everything with everyone. That's not transparency. Because of that, sometimes we end up creating panic also. Transparency means maybe having a shared understanding. People who should be aware of it, they know it. We don't want to make the entire organization salary visible to everyone. That's not a transparency. Right? But people who should be aware of it, they know it. Right? And that's maybe even applicable to maybe about your product progress, what is happening, what is not happening, the issues, technical debt, all that. Your open source we are using a lot. Right? I don't know how many times actually we give credit to those people. They may or may not be earning money out of it, but still, giving a credit, maybe putting in a note is okay. Right? And that's what the environment or the culture we should build. Right? And though we have talked a lot about ethics, right? People think that, hey, I'm really good, I don't do all these things. Right? But the fact is, the way we think, if we are thinking we are more ethical, or we are not. We are not as ethical as we think. Just to be very clear. Right? Look at maybe your last 2 days of work you have done, right? And just evaluate it against the ethics. Was it right or wrong? And you will get the answer. No. Yep.
Whatever they are having for others, when they put themselves into their shoes, they change their roles.
Yep. So just think, answer these two. You don't have to answer it to me, but think about it. There is a good chance that we are going to rate number 1 as a more and number 2 as less. We always think that we are more ethical. It's just because of the organization we may have to do something wrong. Right? I don't want to do all that stuff, right? It's just the system, or maybe the manager, or my leadership, or maybe my customer is asking me to do it. Right? If that is the case, then answer this question. Yeah.
And why this happens that for yourself you always rate high and for the organization you always rate low. Because for yours, about yourself you know everything. And
Yeah.
for the enterprises, lot of, I feel so, in my experience of last 25 years, I think there are a lot of initiative works on change management, transparency, leadership in open house, town hall, but still there are few things happening here and there which are half information that is percolated down in the employees. And that half information or compromised transparency is what actually leading to a low rating.
Yep.
Because for me, I know.
Right.
If I know that if I would rate myself, let's say 7 out of 10, then I know where I'm cutting down my number 8, 9, 10.
Right.
So I know where I'm good, where I'm not good.
Yep, you are right.
For an organization, I think organization
I may not have a bigger picture. I may not be.
is struggling to bring that transparency. As you rightly said, open this salary. I think there is a company in US, I'm forgetting the name of the company. They have implemented a transparent salary formula. Right? And it was very difficult for them in the initial phase because the moment they actually revealed this transparent salary formula, everybody start to guess accurately who is taking what salary, right? But initially it was chaotic, but after a few months it got settled down. Now people have understood, if I want to reach to this level, I have to meet this criteria to meet this formula. So initially it always be chaotic, but when you bring that chaotic or maybe chaos in the beginning, have a right way of managing the chaos, then only this rating probably will go high.
Maybe, right. Yep.
Devon has the transparency on salary, so Devon I worked with, and it is based off of Bangalore, and salaries are transparent there. I knew the salary of each and every person, and that was the reason why I joined that organization, to see, what the mindset people carry and how they got settled into that. Exactly, that creates a
No, that's okay. That may be more of an organization.
every organization has
I mean, hard depend on case to case.
salaries, it will be a big disruption, but
Yep. And but when we make these things transparent, there are some other issues also associated with it. Right. And it's not chaotic. Sometimes it may be more of a criminal case thing. So, just to be clear. that happened. Okay, forget about it. Okay, move on. Let's not talk about. So just answer these questions to yourself. Right. And as I said, most probably we are going to rate number 1 as more as compared to number 2. Right, which is very obvious. If that is the case, then you have to answer the second question. What would you do here? Now you have to open it publicly. And this is what happens. This is what we are at least claiming that this is what is happening with us. We are saying that there are other people who are forcing us to do the wrong thing.
But in the corporate environment, right, this is the easiest, I think, act by the leadership. And something back to be communicated, I personally don't want to do it, but I've been forced to do this.
Exactly. And if you do that, if you follow the person, you are guilty of murder. You can't take it. Maybe just 2 more minutes and then I will wrap it up. Right? That's what happened. Right? And we always say that, hey, it's maybe, always blame organization, system and all that stuff. Right? It's nothing to do with them. They are nothing, it's just because of us. The organization has been built with us as a people. Right? It's up to us as an individual, as in a team, as in a group, as in a department, the way we want to run. Right? So, everyone will have their own thing. That's where I remember the movie Border, right? Mathura Das. We all know that. right? And that's again the next one. It's the doctors, not the hospital. It's you as in a professional, not your organization. That's your job. Don't expect your organization to be ethical if you are not. Yeah, तो मैं कहाँ से मैं मुझे we will talk about it in the lunch. I am not saying about the organization. I am saying as an individual we should be.
So, who runs the organization? Like in a bus, there's a two people who runs that. One is the HR, which is the conductor, and the front end is the leadership and the management. And the rest of the people are coming in. Do you think the people who are sitting in the bus will be ethical? Or if they will be ethical, then the bus driver will take a break, be at the red light, stop it and everything.
When we talk about people, we are not excluding the driver and the conductor.
But here it is everywhere happening. I'm not sure like anybody can tell that their organization is the best, their leaders are very ethical, their HR is very ethical.
And again, those when we talk about HR leaders, they are also part of us also, right? If we may be, if you look at this group, we may not be at CXO level. That's why we have an option to blame them. But if you have a group of CXO, whom they can blame? Maybe just one more minute. Let me wrap it up and then. Okay, question for me. Okay, yeah.
There was one session going on where the question is asked, like one as a program manager, he has been asked to make sure that revenue should go up, okay, and make sure that advertise growing.
Advertise?
That's both his big, okay. The other side is that we are saying to the client, promising that we will give the best of the skills, we will bring a lot of investments and all that. Finally, there is juggling happening. His KRA is different, and this KRA is what the leadership is different. Who is doing ethical in this case? He is cutting costs to increase the EBITDA, not giving a quality work. And this person is saying that promising all the false, everything every day that an hour with the client. And after 5 years or 3 years when the renewal happens, then client asks you last day, what you did, this shit is with us. Who is ethical here and who is not?
I may say none of them.
So that's what I'm saying.
None of them. None. Right? And that's what happens. Right? Just by looking at other people, we may also end up doing the wrong thing. If one of them could have taken a stand, hey, this is not the way we are going to do, I think the things would have been different. Right? Okay, last one. Do you remember this picture? Anyone? It's in a Boeing 737 MAX case. Do you remember that? 500 people were killed, and we know the reason. The people who are sitting in the back, their loved ones, their family member, and this is the hearing happening in US. The guy who is sitting in the front, the CEO of Boeing. Right? If you are not in that group sitting behind, you were just lucky. So be careful, whatever we are doing, that is the right thing. I will stop here and maybe more of again, similar to Vivek, I end up my session again with promotion, right? So, this is my organization, I do a lot of trainings, right? So anyone who is interested in all this certification courses, I'm always happy to help. Thanks, I'm done. Time?
Pretty heavy session, I would say, before lunch. Yeah, so before we leave again, just a quick reminder on your feedback. Two, are there any questions that anybody else has for the open house? So how many topics do we have? We have 3. If that is the case, then we won't need voting. Or do you have? Okay, perfect. Anybody else? All right, so what we'll do is, yeah. So one, we'll take a group photo now, and then one while we close the session. Two, we'll do a voting. So let's be back here by 2. Let's take 5 minutes for quick voting, and we'll have 3 topics. We'll do a session and then open for the open house. Oh, open for open house. It's okay. Yeah? Yeah. Yeah, no formal, yeah, it's going to be free-flowing conversation. I'm going to explain the housekeeping rules as well when we open the session. Yeah? Okay. Yeah, no presentations, please.